What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're going to be going through the entire process of the commercial production that I did with Sean.
Give me the chrome, shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Put on the gas, 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy, keep that same old energy.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Had a great time. I'm so incredibly happy with how the project turned out. And at the very beginning, when I knew I wanted this to be my best project, I knew I wanted to record the whole process and share it with you guys. I wanted to finally start working with a team this year, so I reached out to my friends at Intrepid Creative, Aaron and Brett, and I asked them if they would want to come onto this project with me and treat it as a spec. I reached out to them because I've been wanting to work with them for a while. They do incredible work at their production company. I will tag their company down below for you. So let's just go and jump right into it and talk about pre-production. So after Sean reached out to me, I knew that I wanted this to be a pretty special project, and I knew that location was one of the most important things. But what I didn't foresee is that finding a location for this video was going to be so incredibly difficult. The goal of this video was to promote Sean's online training business, and he's not necessarily associated with any gym, so most of the gyms we reached out to said we don't know why we do that. Promote his business over ours. Most of the gyms we reached out to said it wouldn't make sense to have him shoot in their gym as he's not one of their trainers, or there was several gyms that I also reached out to that gave me an incredibly high rental price. One gym gave me $5,000 an hour. One gym gave me $10,000 an hour. That's a lot of money. But finally, I was at Brickyard Fitness. Brickyard Fitness is one of my favorite places in Kansas City. It's an incredible gym. They've got an incredible gym. I was taking pictures of their location that they could use on their website, and I actually mentioned this project, and they said, let's do it. At that point, I was like almost ready to give up. But we found our location, and from there, pre-production was smooth sailing. In the past, for commercial projects, I've actually just written the script and drawn my storyboard, shot listed in my sketchbook. I would do all that in my sketchbook, and then I would take it to set on film day, and I would have trouble translating even my own handwriting. It was rough. And so I knew I wanted to find another system, another way to do pre-production. And I found Milanote, which is this incredible company that has made pre-production so incredibly easy. It's so clean and consistent. They have templates for you, and it's just one of the most wonderful things. In Milanote, I collected video references, I collected image references that we could use to have an idea of what we wanted this project to look like as an end result. I also created a storyboard, and in that storyboard, I put focal links, I put all the actions that we would be doing, as well as the camera movements, just because I wanted to be able to take my laptop and efficiently move through our shot list on the day. And so it's very important to have everything thought out before you even step foot on location. I also wrote a script for Callie and Sean that we recorded on set just using a lavalier microphone. I think that pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to share with you guys when it comes to the pre-production of this commercial. So let's go ahead and jump to actual film day. I went ahead and printed off like all the scripts for the day, printed off the script, printed off the shot list, just so that we would have everything on paper if we need it. I'm going to be bringing my laptop along too, so we'll be able to reference that on the day. Another thing I'm doing to get ready for call time is making sure everything's charged. We're not going to be using my camera for anything but BTS, so I just made sure my batteries were charged. I've got everything in place. I have the lights in the dining room, so I'm going to be bringing those in the car when I get ready to leave in about an hour. Yesterday I went and picked up the lights that we're going to be using on set today. Picked up a aperture 600D, picked up the 300D, and I picked up a light dome as well from Lights On Kansas City. Great place to rent from. Thank you guys. After I left the house, I immediately went to Intrepid Creative Offices to help them load gear into the car and then take it to location. And when we arrived on location, we tried to arrive 30 minutes early so that would give us time to set up, scout things out, kind of figure out what we were going to be doing with the day, what we needed to shoot first, because they weren't closed when we were filming this, so the gym was open for anyone to come in. So we needed to decide how we could be, least in the way of everyone working in the gym. So we immediately went in, we brought in all the gear, and then we found a place that was probably the best base camp for everything, and we kind of set up there. And then from there, we decided, since we were already in the turf area with all our gear, we were just going to start and try to do most of the shots within the turf area. So we started, and we immediately started with Sean's scripted interview because the commercial was shot for Sean, and we wanted to communicate that he is a trainer that is involved. He is a trainer that's going to be there, push you, and so we wanted to make sure there was audio of him in the commercial. And so we set up a little interview, kind of like just shoulders up shot for him, and that was the first thing we did when we came in. And we just used an aperture 300D. We put a dome on it. We had my little GVM YouTube lights that I'm actually using right now, colored to blue hue, and we set those on his shoulders. And we went through and we got all the audio that we were gonna need for the commercial in one go. So I just put a lav mic on him. They also boom mic'd it, and I'm very glad they did, because my lav mic, the audio levels were set way too high, and a lot of the audio that I got from the lav ended up clipping. And so that's actually a lesson that I learned. Make sure when you're using your lav mic that the levels aren't set too high, because he was speaking pretty loudly. So it was kind of reaching above 12 decibels. Everything was clipping, and that wasn't good. So I'm incredibly glad that we decided to do two ways to record audio.
Just listen to me as I say. Listen to me as I.
So a lot of these shots that I got on the day, I was incredibly happy with. So I want to go and break down, kind of from a lighting standpoint, from a DP standpoint, why did we put lights where we did, where did we place them, and how simple was each setup. So let's go ahead and quickly run through our lighting for the day. So the very first few shots that we got of Callie were her sledding on the sled, running the sled. This setup is only 3 lights. We have placed one light, the 600D, right outside, and we're shining it inside, just right here through the garage door, just to create that look of sunlight. If we didn't have that 600D out there, this room would be really dark, because we turned all the lights out. We wanted to be able to control it how we wanted it. The other 2 lights that we have in this shot are just the 2 2-foot tubes that are sitting on either side of the garage. Those were really easy to grip up because the tubes have magnets on each end, so we were just able to clip them to the metal garage, so that was perfect. So this shot right here, which is the second shot of Callie doing ropes, is also just the 600D right out of frame right here, but I also was holding a 2-foot tube right out of frame on her, so it's giving her this nice eye light, and it's also wrapping the light around to this side of the face. When it was just the 600D and we didn't have this light, it kind of was just like a small highlight on her nose. So we wanted to bring the light around and wrap it around her whole face, and just simply holding that 2-foot quasar tube was enough to do it. So this is honestly probably my favorite shot on the day. This shot with Callie in their gym section. This was out of the turf area. This was in the gym. Was just a 2-light setup. Right out of frame, right outside the garage, you'll see that we had the 600D blasting in, just kind of like kicking in on this wall right here, just to give it a nice little highlight. It was a cloudy day, so we kind of had to supplement that with the 600D. And then the only other light we had was just out of frame on this corner. It was a 300D shooting in on her, just to kind of fill in some of those shadows. It was really dark with just the 600D outside. So we wanted to fill in some of those shadows, just give us a little bit more detail where there was shadow before. This is most definitely the simplest shot on the day. All we did was throw up this tube here to reflect in the mirror. You'll see in the next shot right here. Let me rewind. And you see it coming in, reflecting right there on the mirror, and it's giving all this light right here that you see on her. I was really happy with this shot. You know, this is probably one of the most silhouette-y shots that we have on the day, you know, because we have no detail right back here. We didn't nag anything. We didn't nag anything off. We didn't really need to. It was already pretty dark in the rest of the gym. We had the lights off, and there was nothing for the light to bounce on. And this isn't, to be honest, too powerful. So we didn't have to nag anything off, and it was incredibly simple. I loved this shot. This shot of Callie was another simple setup. We only had one light just kicked up right above the mirror. Don't know why that is so thick, but it is, and that is okay. We had one light taped up right above the mirror, and it's casting down on her, just giving us a nice little highlight. This part didn't need to be too bright. Simple as that. The other shots that we got in the locker room were just slightly more involved. You'll see this light right here that we had taped up right above the mirror, and then in the reflection you can see a light that we had put right on the lockers that was casting down, giving her this highlight right on her back. And then just out of frame, once again, we have, I believe it's Aaron, holding another 2-foot quasar. Oh my gosh, this looks like a penis. I'm sorry, guys. And once again, just out of frame, we have someone holding a 2-foot quasar, just casting this light in on her face. These tubes were pretty easy to move around efficiently, get things done quickly, made our job a lot easier. So that is the locker room scene. One of the things I learned from directing a team for the first time was don't be afraid to be a little assertive. Just in the sense that, you know, this is what you've been thinking about this project for a long time. You've scripted it, you've shot listed it, and in the end, you're kind of the person who has an idea, really, of what you need to capture on the day to get the edit that you want in the end. So, you know, it's really important that, you know, throughout the day, you're making sure you get what you need. Have you got all the stuff that is scripted? Have you got everything, you know, that is shot listed? You know, are you just hitting all the points that you had in your pre-production that you need to create a good edit? You know, it's a lot easier, you know, while you're sitting down doing pre-production to shot list, say, you know, I want a 24 millimeter on this, you know, what focal length, you know, what camera movement do we want? This is what we're going to capture. It's a lot easier to do that in pre-production than it is to take what you've kind of planned and get it on the day. Just because on the day there's distractions. You know, we were working around people who were working out in the gym. Thankfully, there wasn't a ton of people, but there were a couple things that we had to work around. Trying to set the pace for the video when you know we got to be done at a certain time is important. And a lot of the times on a bigger set, you're going to have an assistant director who will continue to push things along. But when you don't have an assistant director, you got to do that yourself. And that is not something that I'm generally great at. I like to have fun on set, sometimes maybe a little bit too much fun. But when you're really crunched on time, it's important to keep things moving. But at the same time, get everything that you need. Another thing that I learned is make sure you're communicating clearly with your clients during the pre-production to make sure that when you come to set, you know exactly what you're going to do. On this project, there was a little miscommunication between me and Sean. I'd asked him if the script was okay, if the shot list was okay, and he said yes. But then when it came to film day, he wanted to change things, and it made things a little bit more difficult, because we were going off script, off shot list at that point, and so things got a little disorganized. So something I'd say is double check. Make sure you and your client are communicating clearly, because this is incredibly important, because you want to make sure they come back to you. You want to make sure you're creating a product that they will love. You want to make sure there's a return on investment for them, and that is incredibly important. And this year, that's something that I'm focusing on, is making sure that your client has a return on the investment, because that's what's going to keep them coming back. And that's something that's important just from a business standpoint that you guys need to think about. Is this what my client wants, or is this what I want? So make sure you're communicating with your client in the pre-production phase. Then you can come to set, create something really nice. I really thought that coffee was going to be a great idea. It was going to be good for me. It was going to help me concentrate, stay calm, cool, and collected. I was wrong. I was twitching the entire time. So, very quick tip. If you're prone to twitch after drinking too much coffee, don't drink too much coffee. But anyway, guys, I think that is everything that I had to share today in this video. I am going to be using a separate video to go over the post-production of this commercial that we shot. We're going to be talking about calories. We're going to be talking about coloring and sound design. And just, how I kind of shape together a fitness commercial. So I really hope you guys found something helpful and beneficial for you that you can take to your next set within this video. Thanks for sticking around. Today was a long one. If you did find the video helpful, feel free to give it a like so that others can find it as well. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's all I have to say today. So appreciate you sticking around, and I'll see you next time.